and welcome to today's session with Data Zen Community. I hope you can hear me and see us, and we're so glad to have you join us today. For those who don't know, the Data Zen Community is a group where tech and data enthusiasts come together to learn, share, and grow. Whether you're new and or experienced, there is always a way to learn something and to listen for something interesting in Data Zen Community. And today we have an amazing session lined by our speaker, Nata, and she will talk about Power BI and she will share her Azure expertise. She will guide us through the basics of one of the most popular tools, Power BI. If you have any questions, so place them in the chat during the session and we will discuss them during our QA part. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nata. For yours.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me now. Thanks for the ones who stayed. You're the real ones. I hope you're all doing well today. Thank you for attending Power BI for Beginners meetup hosted by the Data Zen Community. I'm Nata, and I'll be guiding you through today's session. In this session, we'll explore what Power BI is, how to navigate its interface, and how to use its main features to create visually compelling reports that tell meaningful stories. By the end, you'll have a good understanding of the basics, and I hope you'll find it as exciting and as useful as I do. So, a few words about myself. I'm Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst with more than 3 years of experience in BI. After completing data analytics engineering program from EPAM campus, I started working as a software engineer at EPAM Systems. And currently I'm working as Power BI developer and delivering data solutions across projects. So this is our agenda. We are starting right from the beginning, from introduction to Power BI. Then we are going to dive a bit deeper and discuss its core components. And I'm going to give you some advice on how to create a great design. Also, we are going to have a hands-on demo session, and we are going to build our first report together. Then I'm going to advise you some learning resources if you will be interested in continuing learning about this tool. And in the end, we're going to have a Q&A session, of course, if you have some questions. So first and most important question, what is Power BI? Power BI is a business intelligence tool that helps you connect to different data sources, turn that data into visual reports and dashboards, and share those insights with anyone you choose. It consists mainly of Power BI Desktop, a free application you can use on your computer to build and design reports. Next, Power BI Service, an online platform where you can publish, share, and collaborate on reports and dashboards. And finally, Power BI mobile apps, which lets you view your reports on the go from anywhere. Together, these tools help you turn data into actionable insights quickly and easily. And now that we have a good understanding of what Power BI is, let's take a step back and look at the story behind its development. So, apologize, my screen does not work. Yeah, back in 2006, Microsoft started a project called Gemini with a clear goal to change the way we process and analyze data. The idea was to develop an in-memory engine, basically a way to store data directly in your computer's RAM, which is much faster than traditional storage. The aim was to help users to work with large datasets more efficiently, bypassing the usual slowdowns and limitations. By 2009, Gemini was launched as Power Pivot, a free add-in for Excel, allowing users to handle much larger datasets at much higher speeds. However, Power Pivot really started gaining attention after Rob Coley, a Microsoft expert, shared his thoughts online, sparking excitement within the Excel community. And to make things even better, Microsoft later introduced Data Explorer, which later became Power Query, helping users clean and transform data more easily. But even with these advancements, challenges still remained, like difficulties with sharing large files and scheduling data updates. So that's where Power BI came in, created to address these challenges with a fully integrated platform. The goal of Power BI was clear: to bring speed, ease of use, and scalability together. Power BI achieved this goal through its powerful suite of features. So let's take a look at them. First, it works perfectly with Microsoft tools. If you use Excel, Team, or Azure, Power BI fits right in. It connects easily to these tools so you can share and analyze data without extra effort. Power BI handles large amounts of data. No matter how much data you have, Power BI can handle it. It works with up to 100 million rows, and with one lake, it manages even bigger datasets. It's built for speed and growth. Also, for those coming from data science background, Power BI supports R and Python, and it is great for advanced analytics. Also, Power BI has AI integration. It uses Copilot through Microsoft Fabric for real-time insights through natural language queries. So you can ask questions about your data, and Copilot will instantly generate insights and visuals. Once you try it, you'll see how much easier it makes working with data. So, but why businesses choose Power BI? First of all, it excels not only in reporting, but in data discovery and modeling as well. And of course, it is very user-friendly, easy to learn, and it is affordable and scalable. And for those looking to incorporate machine learning, Power BI gives you access to a library of pre-trained customizable machine learning that can provide real-time insights. As a versatile and scalable tool, Power BI is used by organizations of all sizes, starting from small startups to big names like Adobe or Nestle. So, key industries that use Power BI are enterprises, as I already mentioned. They turn to Power BI to track everything from sales and operations to financial performance across multiple regions. Power BI is also used in education and research. Universities rely on Power BI for in-depth institutional reporting, analyzing everything from student enrollment to research funding, and government and nonprofits can use Power BI to manage budgets or to track public programs and measure the impact of community initiatives. But who are the real heroes behind Power BI? So, who are the people that are using Power BI? First, these are business analysts. They can use Power BI for advanced data analysis. IT teams can use Power BI to automate reporting, manage data security, and stay compliant with industry standards. And power users, for example, and data experts can dive deep with advanced features like DAX, R, and Python to unlock hidden insights and perform complex analysis. And sales and marketing teams can use Power BI to track real-time sales, for example, to monitor return on investment or make data-driven decisions on the fly. So as you can see, Power BI is very popular tool. So it's quite useful skill to learn today. So now that we've covered why Power BI is such an impactful tool, let's dig into how it works. So it all starts with Power Query. It is where the process begins. Think of it as a tool that prepares and cleans our data so it's then ready for analysis. So why it is important? It ensures error-free data. It helps you handle missing values, duplicates, and inconsistent formats so your data is organized. And it's used for data shaping. It reshapes, merge, and filters for better insights. And what's important that it ensures non-destructive transformations. So even if we make many changes to our data, our original source will not be affected. So our data will be kept intact. And Power Query ensures automation. Power Query records every change we make. So when our data updates, all those transformations are applied automatically. So this is our data transformation tool. What about data modeling? Power BI has several features to address this need. First of all, we have model view. This is where we organize tables, create relationships between them, and set up hierarchies. Power BI's formula language is called DAX. It is similar to Excel, but it is much more powerful. And we can use DAX to create calculated columns, measures, or different metrics. Power BI's Vertipack engine is a fast in-memory system that enables us to work with large data sets. This is what I mentioned in the beginning about in-memory engines. And Power BI's data pane is where we can see and manage all our important data, organize it, and prepare it to use for visuals and reports. So now that we've covered data modeling tools, let's mention a few words about data visualizations. So I've highlighted several Power BI visuals, popular ones, and let's follow those examples. One of the most popular chart type is bar chart, for example. Here I have its use cases. For example, it is used to compare categories or totals with breakdowns. And I have small tip here. For example, we can use cluster bar charts for clear comparisons between categories and stacked bar chart to highlight contributions of subcategories. And we also have line charts, which are mainly used to show trends over time. The tip is to limit the number of lines, and it is best for time-based trends. And we also have pie charts, which are used to show part of a whole, and tip is to limit slices, like for line chart limit lines to keep the clear picture. And the pie chart, for example, is best for proportions. So why have I mentioned this? These are just a few examples, and I have used them to highlight this question: how to choose the right visual. So here I have presented most of the visuals that are available in Power BI. What have we seen? When selecting a visual, consider the type of data you're working with and the story you want to tell, and choose visuals that make your insights clear and easy to interpret, while avoiding clutter or unnecessary complexity. So if we want comparison, we can use bar chart, line chart, or area chart, for example. If we want to show correlation, we can use scatter plot. So we should know what each chart is used for, and we should know what our client wants, what we want to show. So if we know this information, we will make our decisions more easily. So now that we've covered the popular chart types, I will present some key points for effective design. First, and my favorite one, is to keep it simple. A clean and simple design ensures that your audience can understand what is happening. So highlight key data points, use bold colors or other design elements to make important figures stand out, and try to avoid clutter. Every visual element should have a clear purpose. Too many visuals or excessive data can overwhelm the viewers. And the third tip is to use clear, concise labels that will help our audience to navigate our reports. They shouldn't need to have a guidebook to do it. So the second tip is to focus on our audience and focus on what they need. When designing report, always ask yourself, who is my audience and what decisions will they make using the data? So tailor your visuals to highlight relevant metric to ensure your report serves its purpose. For example, a sales manager might need to track performance metrics like total revenue, year-over-year growth, or the top performing products, and we need to tailor our visuals based on what they need. And the third tip is to ensure design consistency. Consistency in design helps create a professional and polished appearance. So try to align visuals neatly. Proper alignment and spacing can make your report look clean and well organized. Also, use the same color scheme throughout your dashboard, which will ensure that your report is visually appealing and easy to understand. And use contrasting colors to draw attention to key metrics or important changes in our data. And the third tip is to stick to a single font style for titles or labels. A uniform font style will keep your report looking professional. And you can also set a theme in Power BI to apply consistent styles automatically. This small step can make a big difference in professionalism. So consistency is the key. These were the three steps that I wanted to highlight: data transformation, data modeling, and visualization. And now that we've covered it, it's time for fun part, creating our first report. And this is our demo session, and I'm going to switch to my report view. Hopefully you can see my screen, you can see my Power BI report. This is Power BI desktop. It is blank. Right now I have just added the logo, and we have three main views here: report view, table view, and model view. But before, and the fourth one, which was added recently, is DAX query view. But before we start diving deep into these different views, we need to get some data into our reports. So this we can do easily by clicking shortcut if our data is in Excel format. But right now, let's click on Get Data. And for this demo session, we will be working with Excel workbook because it is easy. And disclaimer, this data has been generated by AI and it is for educational purposes only, so numbers may not reflect the real trends. So for this session, we're going to analyze Christmas tree sales. And for that, we have different tables into our Excel report, and we're going to load all of them into our report. So when we clicked on Get Data, Navigator pane has opened. And let's select all the tables we want to work with. I'm going to select all. And you can see the preview has opened. And before loading it into our report, I recommend to transform the data. So transformation step is what Power Query does to clean the data and ensure that everything is okay. So now the Power Query editor has opened and we have several options to transform our data easily. So first step I always do is I ensure that column quality, column distribution, and profile is turned on. This is what shows us the valid error empty values. Column profile shows us some column distribution and some other values that are important to view. So why it is great that it is great because I can see the overall picture of my data and see if there are errors or what I should pay attention to. So first off, let's see what's happening into calendar table. I think it looks okay. The one thing I'm going to do is turn this date time type into date. So I'm just clicking on this small icon and change its type to date and replace current step. So all these steps are recorded into applied steps pane in query settings. So I'm happy with calendar table. Let's move on to customer dimension table. So as you can see, it is a simple table, but with help of this column profile and column quality, I've noticed that we have 80 distinct and 79 unique values. What it means that we have some duplicates in customer ID column. So I would like to get rid of duplicates. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on this column and I'm going to remove duplicates. So now we have 80 distinct and 80 unique values. The next transformation I'm going to perform that I don't want to have first and last name separately. I would rather have the full name. So I'm just going to select these two columns, right click and merge these columns. Going to use space as a separator and name the new column full name. Right, it was really easy to do that. Keep in mind that we can perform all these operations here as well in Transform tab, but for me, it is more easy to just right click this column and to perform these informations like this. So right now, I'm almost happy. I just don't like the formatting of the names. So I'm just going to transform and capitalize each word to make the names more readable. Okay, now I'm happy with customer table. Let's head to sales table and see what's happening there. Um, Everything looks okay. I'm just going to replace null values in quantity. Let's do it another way. Instead of right clicking, let's click on replace values from here and replace null with zeros because I prefer to not have blanks if possible when working with data. Okay, now our sales table looks all right. Let's take a look at store dimension table. As you can see, we have here information of each store and the location. But as we can see in location, we have a city and state code into a single column. So I prefer to have city and the state code separately. So I'm just going to split this column. So let's split column by delimiter. And we have comma as a delimiter in this case, but we can use other even custom delimiters. So let's click on OK. Notice how each step is recorded to the applied steps. So this is what I was talking about, right? So let's rename our new columns, name this city and name this state code. State code. Um, I'm almost happy with this table. I just don't like state codes. I would prefer to have state names. So do we have this information? I have prepared the mapping table in advance. So I'm just going to use this for mapping. First of all, I'm just going to use first rows as a header. And let's head to store dimension and merge queries. Click on merge queries to merge these two tables. So, okay, let's merge it with help of state code. And let's expand our new table. Let's select state name. And now we'll have state name into our table. Now that I have this information, I don't need state code information anymore. So I'm just going to remove it. And I'm also going to disable loading the state dimension into our model because I'm not going to use it for building our model anymore. It is just used for mapping state name with state codes. Okay, and the last table is tree type dimension table where we have different tree types, their height, or and if there are natural trees or artificial. So this table looks okay. Um, I'm happy with the transformations we performed. So let's try to close and apply these transformations. So our tables are being loaded into our report. And let's first step after our data transformation is data modeling. So let's move to model view. As you can see, the relationships between these tables were created automatically. This is so-called star schema, well, because it reflects the star shape. Well, you believe what you see. And um, look how easy it is to manage relationship in a model view. For example, if we want to change anything, we can click on relationship and edit it or delete it. But right now, since our model is supposedly perfect, everything is fine, we can also view our properties of our table of each column and ensure that everything is all right. So I think let's explore our table view as well, our table, and ensure that our tables have loaded. Everything looks fine. The only thing I'm missing that I have price and quantity information into sales table, but I don't have. I would like to have revenue generated by each sale. So let's write our first metric. We can click on modeling and create new measure, which is we will be using DAX, which is formula language for Power BI. And let's create our first formula together. It will be sum, and our table will be sales table. And our expression will be we are going to multiply quantity by price. And our first metric will be created. So as a home table, I would choose sales table. So this metric will be added into our sales table as a revenue, as easy as it is. So now comes the fun part. We should add visualizations to our report, of course. So first visual I would like to add is line chart to show trends over time. We can just click on line chart and it will be added here automatically, as easy as it is. And let's select revenue, and we are going to show revenue by date. So let's add the dates as well. So our trend visual was created, and we can see how how our revenue changes over time. Now I would like to have some information about tree types and how the sales were between different tree types. So let's select clustered bar chart. As I mentioned earlier in my presentation, it is used for comparison. So let's try to use it. And let's add our tree type dimension into our report. As you can see, it was really easy to create it. You can easily format visualizations by moving to format your visual button, and let's add labels to our report. Now we can see exactly the sales amount according to each tree types, and um, we can also switch between visuals very easily. We can also use tree map visual. I'm going to move tree type to details, and I'm going to add natural or artificial in category. So this visual is mainly used for hierarchies, and it is really useful and interactive. For example, if I'm clicking on natural, Douglas fir rectangle, it filters out the line chart. And as you can see, these visuals are really interactive. I would also like to have some detailed information into our report. So I'm going to add full name for customer, maybe store name as well here to see where they are shopping. I'm going to add date here, and also I want to have the revenue generated by each customer. We can easily sort this revenue from largest to lowest here, and we can also customize the style of this table easily, or we can also customize it further. These are just available styles right now. Okay, now that we've played with some of the visualizations, let's have a bit more fun and try AI visual and how it works. So Power BI has the Q&A visual, and we can use the natural language to generate visuals using this Q&A visual. It is really easy to use. So these are the suggested prompts. For example, what is the revenue by state? Or like we can see this visual was generated artificially. And we can also ask, for example, show revenue by city. Let's try city. But I would rather have map. Let's see if it works. It worked. Our Q&A AI visual has generated revenues by map by cities, and we can also click on each city to see revenues, to see the trees uh, that were purchased and see the line chart trends. And if we like our visual, we can turn it into standard visual. So if we click this button, it will be turned into the standard visual, and we can check that it works properly. So what else we can do is that if we want to change interactions of our visuals, we can also do that. For example, if we click on edit interaction buttons, we can cross filter or cross highlight our visuals. For example, if we click here, these visuals will be cross filtered instead of cross highlighted. So this is really interactive, and you see how easy it was to create the report that gives us some insights. For example, we can see that sales of natural revenue generated by natural trees is bigger than for artificial trees. We can see that sales are biggest in New York City, for example. We can see trends that the sales are growing in November for Christmas tree sales, which seems reasonable. So this is the report that we've built in 15 minutes. So imagine what you can build if you had enough time. So thank you for listening to our demo, and let's switch back to our presentation. We've created our first report, and I hope you liked it and you are interested in this tool. So if you are ready to discover more, here are some resources that you can use to start learning more about Power BI. The first resource, of course, is Microsoft's official website. Actually, they have everything you need to know about this tool. So I would definitely recommend first reviewing what they have, and then if you want to become certified, you can start preparing for PL 300 certification, and after passing it, you'll become Power BI data analyst associate like myself. Also, let's go to introduction to DAX. As I mentioned, DAX is a very powerful language used in Power BI. So it's really important to have at least a basic to intermediate understanding of it. So I would definitely recommend you the course by SQL BI. You can visit it by scanning this QR code or clicking on the link below. And the fourth one is definitive guide to DAX for those who are prefer to read a book. This is really great book for getting to know to DAX and know everything about it. So as a cherry on the top, I have this program. I have put this program here. It is free data analytics engineering program provided by EPAM campus. This is a challenging one, but it is really rewarding. You will learn everything from SQL to like building your first data warehouse, data quality, data visualizations. You'll have you'll get to know about everything in just 7 months. And why is it great? It is free, first of all, and with this, even though it's free, our skilled mentors provide the guidance for us. And also, it is full of market-oriented content tested in numerous runs, and it is focused on providing hands-on experience. So, if you are interested in this course and other courses, particularly provided by EPAM campus, you can scan this code. So this program particularly begins in March. So just for your understanding. Okay, these are the learning resources, and of course you can use other resources, for example, DataCamp or YouTube. The main thing is that you be interested in this product. So this was all for my presentation part. Thank you very much for your patience and for listening, and I hope you liked it. So now it's time for a Q&A session, and I'm ready to answer the questions that you have.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you very much, Nata. Yeah, very detailed and interesting presentation. Now let's move to questions. We have them many. Yeah, and first, maybe what are some real world scenarios where Power BI has significantly improved decision making? Could you give some
mhm.
uh, examples of real world scenarios?
So, as I mentioned, Power BI is used across like all types of organizations, educational, where it be enterprises or where it be like government. So, real world scenario, I can name, for example, one that when we are analyzing the sales or performance of a certain department, or we are analyzing the P&L statement of a certain department, we can use Power BI to show key metrics. For example, how are we performing? What is our forecast and what is our actual values? Are we behind schedule? Is the actual value over the forecast value, or is it below? If it is over, of course, we are performing great. If it is below, we are performing not so great. So all these can be visualized by one of Power BI's visuals, key performance indicators, which is a really good metric. And when someone opens the report and sees the dashboard, it, he can see and analyze this very quickly, because they are we as people see that for example, in line chart, we can see the trend instantly. So we can notice where we have the problems. And apart from this, we can also highlight, for example, the dates when we have issues. We can use also conditional formatting, or we can format the charts the way that, for example, the bad values are highlighted as a red, so we noticed it instantly. So instead of traditional Excel reporting, Power BI provides more features, and if we design our report properly and not overcomplicate it and place visual, most important insights on our page, we will notice how we are performing, or what are the most important values instantly. So this is one example. I can also go into more details, but we can also discuss later.
Yeah. So next question is, what problems have you faced with while using Power BI? So
Yeah,
are there any limitations that you faced?
sure. Power BI, as of course, every tool is not perfect in every aspect. Sometimes the challenges and the problems I have faced are regarding performance. There was the case that I needed to create some report which had a huge data source. But sometimes it is challenging to work with huge data sources because it can affect the performance, and you need to ensure that your data model is built properly. So I have faced some performance issues in my report, but for that we have some performance analyzer tools and some add-in tools for Power BI where we can ensure that everything is working, and we can analyze our performance and see where the problem came from. Do we have rendering issue? Do we have measure issue? Have we written something incorrectly? So things can get complex when we have complex data sources. So if we have the general and in-depth understanding of this tool, will address these challenges more easily. So that won't be a problem anymore. So these are example of some of the limitations that we have. It is based, yeah, and Power BI Desktop has also the size limit of a data set. Um, and yeah, there are some limitations, but in a real world there are no mostly it addresses 95% of business requirements. So I don't think that there is anything we can achieve with Power BI if we try. Thank you.
So by this performance issue, you mean that uh, for each uh, for each chart in Power BI, it sends a query in database, and you faced with performance for specific queries in database, right? So
Yeah, that's correct. I have faced with query performance issues.
mhm.
So I also had to ensure that my DAX code was written more properly. The way you write your DAX, you can like improve performance. So
Mhm.
this is why I advise you to get to know to this language, and to read a book or to have beginner courses to get introduced to DAX.
And regarding this, like imperfect queries to database, does Power BI generate queries itself, or you just write raw query yourself? So can it be such situation that Power BI generates such an efficient query that with bad performance, for example, in database?
With bad performance,
Yeah, because Power BI generates the query.
uh,
It's,
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, the DAX is executed on the fly, right? And
Mhm.
when we write DAX, it can be that our formula is not written not properly or according to standards. So when uh, it's being executed, it can be either slow or it can be fast. So we need to be careful with writing tags, and but it depends on how complex our requirement is. Mostly we don't need to write too complex of a DAX code, but generally, if our code is complex, we need to know what affects its performance and how we can improve it. And for that, we have add-in tools like DAX Studio to analyze our query performance, and yeah, to make sure that everything is written properly.
Yeah, you also mentioned about Excel. So
Yeah,
some of screens that you shown really similar to Excel. Yeah, and Excel is getting like more powerful today. And
yeah.
yeah, do you see any reasons why to use Power BI instead of Excel?
Yeah, of course. As I mentioned, like when Microsoft created Power BI, the goal was to for the users of Excel to start using Power BI as well. So for those who are coming from Excel background, it is more easy to learn Power BI because of how familiar it is with Excel. However, for Excel, Excel, of course, is a great tool for addressing a few business requirements, but it has its limitations. So, first of all, Power Pivot is Excel add-in. Excel originally was not designed for working with large data sets. So when we face with large data sets, Excel can have slowdowns and limitations. Also, it is hard to share the reports with Excel, share these big reports with Excel, or schedule data refreshes with Excel. And Power BI was created to address all these challenges and to integrate all these tools together. So Power Pivot for Excel became uh, integrated in its functionalities became integrated in Power BI. But Power BI is much more powerful with its Vertipack engine that is designed to handle large data sets, is much more powerful than Excel. And also its scalability can increase through cloud, and it is much more scalable than Excel, and it makes sharing and collaboration much more easy. And also the visuals in Power BI are richer, and they are more interactive. And I would say that in these areas, Power BI is much more developed, and I don't think that it has its own purpose, and Excel is still being used, of course, and it is great that it is being improved, but since it was not originally designed for handling some cases, some large data sets and stuff that I mentioned, Power BI is a much more powerful tool uh, in these cases. So yeah, I don't think that one will replace the other for the next years. Each we can use for our we can use Excel for small data sets, and Power BI is much more popular handling these large data sets and large business problems and design.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
also both are from Microsoft products. So yeah, sorry.
uh, one of our guests mentioned that this Power BI UI doesn't work on Mac. Do you know do you know any ideas how to fix it? Have you faced with this?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is true. Power BI is for Windows only, and I don't use Mac generally, but some of my friends just use a virtual machine to access Power BI. So this is one way you can access Power BI through Mac, but I believe there might be some other way. I will check this with my friend, and I will let you know. You can also write directly to me in the chat.
Mhm. Yeah, also we have question, what is the data size limitation of Power BI?
So it depends. When working with Power BI, desktop, the data set limitation is 1 GB, as I remember. But when we publish our report into Power BI service, so first we design a report in Power BI desktop because it has more capabilities, and then we can publish this report in Power BI service to share it with others, right? And in Power BI service provides more data set capacity, but it differs between which option we use. There are different licenses for Power BI. For example, if we use Power BI Pro license, dataset limit is size limit is 10 GB. But Power BI also has premium capacity, which has much more capacity available for us, terabytes, and there is no limit, I would say, because there are different plans that we can choose from. So for that, we'll need to know Power BI, which licenses do we need, or which capacity should we use? Is Power BI free capacity enough, or do we need premium capacity? And each has different options for us. So as I mentioned, yeah, we can handle like hundreds of millions rows of data. So in most cases, we have no limitations regarding the size.
Mhm. And also there is a question about connecting to databases in
Yeah.
AWS and GCP. Is it possible?
Yeah, sorry,
Mhm.
when I started showing you my demo, I have not mentioned different databases we can connect to. Yeah, generally, when we click on Get Data, we can see all the different databases we can connect to. We definitely can connect to AWS database. We can connect to Databricks, SQLs, and all the popular databases are there, and there are also not so popular ones. So you can once you click on Get Data, you can see all the sources we can connect to. They are a lot, actually, and yeah, it's possible to connect to AWS
And
database.
do you know if it's, do you remember just, is it possible to connect to some API, for example, that returns JSON?
Yeah, I think it is. I have never tried it, but I think it is possible. So yeah.
Mhm. Let me check other questions that we have. Uh, yeah, you mentioned that it's
Yeah.
necessary to choose proper visuals. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you have some, maybe there are some best practices how to choose these proper visuals, because somebody can choose, I don't know, pie chart, another can choose like this linear
Mhm.
chart. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. Before I mention like which type of visual we should choose, first of all, it is always better to place not too many visuals on a single page. Sometimes I have seen that people tend to place like 8 visuals into a single page, which makes it hard to read and understand what's going on. Some think that complexity seems to be more like serious or stuff. But I would advise to place 4 to 5 visuals into a single page to not to overcomplicate it. This is the first tip, and you can also if they are symmetrical and you are using the same font style, same sizes, it will look great, and the colors should also be consistent. And you can also, for example, divide page into 3 parts and place most important visuals to the left, because humans mostly read from left to right. And if the visual is important, you can make it bigger. You can have one big visual on the left and two to three visuals on the right, and how to choose the right one, right? So we should know each visual is designed for. For example, as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, line chart is designed to show trends over time. Pie chart is to show parts of a whole. So, but if we have too many parts, it is better to use like a bar chart, because pie chart will become too cluttered. So you can, after this demo, and after our presentation, we will send this presentation to you. And one of the slides contain information of the charts and their use cases. In the title, we have, for example, comparison, and there are different charts there. And you can use that slide to have a general understanding of what each visual is used for. And later you can also Google like different chart types, and there are many great articles for their use cases as well. So yeah, basically you just need to have a general understanding of most popular charts and what are their use cases, and then you'll be able to choose the charts more easily.
Okay, yeah, looks like we're out of questions and out of time. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining our session today. I hope you found this session both insightful and inspiring. And a big thank you to Nata for sharing her expertise and guiding us through the incredible world of Power BI. If you have any further questions and want to continue learning, feel free to explore the resources shared during the session. And also, presentation file and the recording file will be available on the event page. Also, stay connected with Data Zen Community for more sessions like this, where we bring together experts to help you to grow in your data and tech journey. We'd love to hear your feedback, so please share your thoughts in the chat or comments or on the event page. You can also rate this talk if you like or if you don't like. And don't forget to check out upcoming events. We'd love to see you with us again. Thank you once again and have a great day. Thank you,
Thank
Nat.
you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye.